The entire country saw with horror and shock yesterday when in police custody, accompanied by 17 policemen, Mafia Don Atiq Ahmed and his brother were gunned down when they were being taken out, and they were in fact had gone for a routine medical checkup. It has raised a lot of questions, though of course there have been these killers, those who were there, they surrendered after shooting Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf. Remember, there is a process, an entire judicial process in the Umesh Pal murder case which is going on. In fact, the trial was going on. Atiq Ahmed, who was brought in from the Sabarmati prison, and his brother from a different prison in Uttar Pradesh, if I'm not mistaken from the Bareilly prison, were brought in to Prayagraj. And this happened, ladies and gentlemen, on the day his son, who was also one of the accused as far as the Umesh Pal murder is concerned, was caught on the CCTV footage 24 hours after he was gunned down. Yesterday was his burial, and Atiq Ahmed and his brother had been shot dead in Prayagraj. Now, while many are calling it, and especially the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders, in rejoicing and talking about how this is justice which has been served, but the fact remains that this happened in the custody of the Uttar Pradesh police. There is a lot of questions, not only on the police but also on the law and order situation as far as the state of Uttar Pradesh is concerned. Joining me on the broadcast at this moment, my colleague Alok Pandey, who has been tracking the story very, very closely and bringing us all the latest details. Alok, 3 accused have been apprehended. It was a marathon in fact television coverage, a murder which took place and which was caught on CCTV footage, the reaction to it on live camera.
Well, you're absolutely right. In fact, it was one of the most horrifying and shocking visuals that many of us have seen in a long time, even from a state like Uttar Pradesh. The only parallel in one sense of shock value that I can draw is to the Lakhimpur incident 2 or 3 years ago, when those protesting farmers were run down allegedly by the son of a union minister. Yesterday was very shocking. I think first of all it would be pertinent if we can focus on what the police's role in this entire situation was, and whether they reacted properly to this incident, or whether there were adequate arrangements in place to prevent an incident like this or not. So if you look at the footage, and I think we are playing out the bits that we actually can put on air, there's this shooting and then there is absolute chaos, and there are about 7 to 8 policemen, and even after firing the first shot you have a situation where these killers kept on shooting at Atiq Ahmed and at his brother Ashraf. And there were 8 or 9 cops, but the question is, did they do enough to intervene or at least stop what was happening? If you look at that footage, and I know that we are not professional policemen or investigators, but at the same time, as a common person, as a layman, you look at that footage, you wonder why these people were allowed to pump bullet after bullet into Atiq Ahmed and into his brother Ashraf. That's one question that you think of. The other question that it comes to my mind readily, because I've tracked this story over the last some days, so have you. When Atiq and his brother were brought from their prisons, Atiq from Sabarmati in Ahmedabad and Ashraf from Bareilly, as you rightly pointed out, there was this huge contingent of policemen with them. In fact, I remember, and I've been saying this since yesterday, and at the risk of repeating myself, when Atiq Ahmed and his brother were produced in the Prayagraj court a few days ago, I remember distinctly this top angle shot that one of the agency seats were giving us. And there were, I mean, if you started counting the number of policemen, I think it would run into thousands or maybe hundreds. And yet yesterday, when Atiq Ahmed, the same person, and his brother, again the same person, high profile criminals, when they were being taken from wherever they were to this medical examination, there were just about 8 to 9 policemen in that frame. The police says there were about a dozen, but does it then compare to the kind of security that Atiq was getting in the past? Who decided that Atiq Ahmed needed to go for a medical examination at 10:30 in the night? I know that Mr. Sharma, the Commissioner of Police, said yesterday that whatever happened was legally mandated as per law, but one wonders who took that call to take Atiq Ahmed there at that point of time with this limited security. One more point that I'd like just to talk about as I hand back to you is this entire sequence of events. You know, there were these people who were apparently disguised as reporters. They were carrying I-cards of some news channels, and they just managed to come and mingle, and there was such a huge security. There are two things that I wonder about. Number one, when there are so many media crews together, one tends to recognize each other, at least in a place like Prayagraj, where most of the crews would have been from Uttar Pradesh, and then suddenly you have these people coming and just shooting point blank. And even the police, even the local police or the police that are around, generally, there is a sense that, you would be a little more situationally aware. Here it appears that, everyone was caught unawares. And something like this was allowed to happen. Look, Atiq Ahmed had just been convicted in a kidnapping case. He had been sentenced to life imprisonment. His brother is in a Bareilly jail. There are grave allegations against them. But at the end of the day, whatever has to happen as per law. There is a judicial process in place. Atiq was just sentenced to life imprisonment a while ago. So the wheels of the judiciary were also kind of moving, and there was nothing to say that it won't happen again. But now both are dead.
The fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, that's the bottom line. There can't be any sympathy as far as the gangsters are concerned, but the fact remains this country is run under a book of constitution by the rule of law. This kind of vigilante justice cannot be permitted. Alok raising some pertinent questions as far as the police's role is concerned. The shocking fact is that despite what is the training of the Uttar Pradesh police, that not only they failed to secure these accused, but also we saw that not a single shot was fired in retaliation. The police did not do anything when this entire act was taking place, and these two men, gangsters, have been killed in this horrific fashion. And of course, to add to that, religious slogans were also raised. This is a very, very serious and a dangerous combination that took place in Prayagraj. Let me very quickly also go across to my colleague Vedant, who is joining us from Lucknow. Alok, stay on with me. I'm coming back to you. Vedant, the situation in the state of Uttar Pradesh on high alert. The Chief Minister had a very high level meeting yesterday. All districts under section 144. The fact remains so far that there hasn't been any action as far as the policemen, those who failed to discharge their duty in this case, are concerned.
Let me first quickly show you pictures outside the Chief Minister's residence. Security has been beefed up here, and as we speak, Ankit, a high-level meeting is underway. The Additional Chief Secretary Home and the DGP, who were rushed to Prayagraj yesterday, they are here at the Chief Minister's residence as we speak. And this high-level meeting is been going on since 10 a.m. today, and this is very crucial because what we are also learning is that it's likely that after this particular meeting, the UP government is also likely to submit a report to the Ministry of Home Affairs. We're still awaiting confirmation on that, but as we speak, this very crucial meeting is underway. Not just top officials of the UP police, but at the same time senior cabinet ministers, including Deputy Chief Minister Brajesh Pathak and Keshav Prasad Maurya, are also currently here at the Chief Minister's residence. The Chief Minister is being briefed by top officials of the UP police, as well as accompanying him are top ministers of the UP cabinet. Now remember, the immediate concern or the immediate fallout of this particular incident is going to be the maintenance of law and order as far as the state is concerned. As you rightly pointed out, prohibitory orders have been imposed across the state. In some parts of Prayagraj, internet has also been suspended, and right now we are also expecting that at around 3 p.m. The UP STF will also be addressing the press. So currently, as we speak, this crucial meeting is underway. Ankit.
Crucial meeting going on in Uttar Pradesh. Now this has kept the state on the edge at the killing and the manner in which this entire brutal killing in fact did take place. Atiq Ahmed and his brother shot dead, that too in front of live cameras. Now many unanswered questions, and among them was who was behind these three men? What was their motive of gunning down Atiq Ahmed and his brother? Was there an old rivalry? Do they belong to some gang? Were they aggrieved, as many cases have been slapped against Atiq Ahmed, as far as this case is concerned? But the fact remains that this does raise serious questions of law and order as far as the state of Uttar Pradesh is concerned. PKD Nambe are with me at this moment, political analyst, supports the Bharatiya Janata Party. We also have Nahid Lahari Khan of the Samajwadi Party joining us at this moment. Asutosh Srivastav, advocate Supreme Court, with us. I want to start with you, Asutosh. you know, the fact is, no matter how heinous and what Atiq Ahmed and his brother did, all that is on one side. That has to be decided by the court of law. There was a judicial legal process which was going on. Yes. It was the responsibility of the state to ensure that Atiq Ahmed, his brother, is protected so that they can face the wrath of the law as prescribed by the books. How do you see this case? Isn't this a grave failure as far as the police is concerned?
See, any accused for that matter has the right to be prosecuted legally, and the judicial process has to be followed. That is, there is no doubt on this part of it. Now, considering this particular accused who had several criminal antecedents, now it happened when he was taken for the medical and it happened at the public place where some of the unknown people, they attacked and he was killed. And it is at present would be, I can only say that yes, the responsibility of taking the accused for any sort of medical and taking back again to the prison was the duty of the police. Yes, now it depends how and how it happened and who were the people who did it, what was their motive. So far as the government of UP is concerned, we have seen that a committee has been already constituted to see as to in what circumstances it all happened and what actions are required to be taken. If there is any negligence by any of the officers, obviously I am sure the government will take it up further. But just by saying that it has been done purely on the part of the police negligence, I think it will be too early to speak in that
How will it be too early, sir? 3 people come in and there is a police protection being provided to these accused, and if the police fails to protect them, then it is of course the responsibility of the police. Who else will take the responsibility? The state has to.
We have seen that even a constable has been injured, one journalist has also been injured. So it is not that something which was supported or anything like that. Yes, I do agree to that extent that it was the duty of the police to take the accused in safety.
PKD Nambiar, the fact is that this country gave a trial to the 26/11 terrorist Ajmal Ahmad Kasab as well. And that's what the great legal system of this country does. No matter who you are, what you have done, you get a trial in the court and the court decides what to do with you. If this kind of shooting would have taken place in any other state, the BJP would have been up in arms calling it Jungle Raj. Why shouldn't the same be said about the Uttar Pradesh government?
Well, Ankit, there is a little difference. I have no doubt that every criminal even have his own rights. There is no doubt about it. This is, but the kind of, since yesterday I was on a show at 12 o'clock in the midnight. There are some section of the people. I'm not saying that what happened yesterday was wrong from the point of security, lapse, etc. Accepting that for a minute. But the kind of sympathizers are growing on some of the people, especially some of the opposition parties, like as if that their sympathy for Atiq is growing like anything, as if that he was a great freedom fighter kind of a feeling is given. That is not right. I think there is a security lapse. Security lapse do happen in many places, and even in fact there was people who were talking about UP is all about the encounter. Let me remind you, Ankit. Imagine the 1980s and the 80s and 90s in Mumbai, how the encounters have really made it the point that the Mumbai is the livable and out of the underworld. So there are, wherever there is requirement.
I am sorry, sir. You might have your argument. The fact remains encounters are extrajudicial. I mean, no matter, you can't justify the means just because you think that proves or that is a fast way of giving justice. It is not. There is no justice which has been served as far as Atiq Ahmed and Ashraf is concerned. There are so many cases that they had to answer to. There were so many cases that they had to go through the entire trial process and things had to come out. While you say that there is... let me complete my question. Let me complete my question. Mr. Nambiar, you are saying there is sympathy growing for Atiq Ahmed. Mr. Nambiar, raising questions on the failure of the state to go ahead and execute his responsibility is not pro-accused. It is important for every right-thinking citizen to raise those questions, sir. It could be anybody tomorrow. It doesn't have to be a criminal this time who has been shot dead. If this kind of a free rein is given to the vigilantes, those who are going ahead and gunning down people.
I will just wanted to sum it up in 2 words. As you said, that extrajudicial killing, which is called as an encounter, whether it can happen to you tomorrow, to me or anybody else, I accept that that is not acceptable in a civilized society. Now the question is that Umesh Pal, when he was brutally killed in a terrorized way, I have not seen such kind of a criticism coming from the opposition parties or including Ankit. In such a way, such a massive campaign was on even in the midnight to even now. So
I will tell you the difference, Mr. Nambiar, because since you've named me as well, go back, and you've been on my show as well on Umesh Pal. I raised the same question on the law and order and how this man was killed in police custody. 2 policemen were also killed around him. What do you have to say? What do you have to say, Mr. Nambiar, to the killers of Atiq and Ashraf Ahmed, those who also went on to raise religious slogans? Does that not tell you that there is something invariably wrong? Criminals invoking God before they go out and create this kind of a mess?
Ankit, you are also getting in prey to a strategy. It could be a strategy wherein we don't know what is the people who are behind this whole stuff. Is it only the 3 people who have been caught, or is there a conspiracy behind it? How they have come in the shape of in the form of a journalist and killed these people? Were they addicts? Were they having any other conspiracy? This will only come out after a judicial
investigation,
which is already on. The only question what we need to do today is that to call it that what happened yesterday was unfortunate. Every criminal in this country do have his own right, but an incident such things should not be like I will call it a Veerappan, a Veerappan. That's it. Beyond that, I don't give that.
There shouldn't be any sympathy as far as any criminal is concerned, and I hope there won't be any sympathy against these 3 accused, those who have now been caught in the act killing Ashraf and Atiq. But Nahid Hasan Lahiri, Nahid Lahiri Khan, if I may come to you, जो PKT नाम्बियार साहब बोल रहे हैं कि कल से एक सिंपैथी फैक्टर हो गया है अतीक अहमद के लिए, उसको एक हीरो बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं ऑपोजिशन.
Ankit ji, absolutely there is no sympathy with any criminals. You also said earlier that nobody sympathizes with criminals. But see, the country is run by rule of law. And if you talk about Uttar Pradesh, just few days back in broad daylight, Umesh Pal was brutally murdered. And after few days, Atiq's son and Ghulam was, they underwent a fake encounter. And now...
How do you know that, ma'am?
No, everybody knows it was a fake encounter.
No, who is everybody? That has to be decided by the court of law, not by you or I or everybody.
Certainly it will be proved by court of law. But now you see last night how Atiq and his brother Ashraf were brutally murdered. Now does BJP does not believe in the court of law? BJP does not believe in anything. Now you see that...
no, but does that give a right to anybody to utilize Atiq Ahmed to make him a hero? He was a criminal.
No. Who's making him a hero?
That's the charge that the opposition has.
He was always a hero. He was their MP.
Mr. Nambiar, not over each other. You know the rules of the game, sir. Not over each other. I'll come to you.
No, who's making him a hero? BJP is making him a hero and media is making him a hero. Opposition is continuously saying that criminals have to be punished by the court of law. There is BJP doesn't believe in judiciary. BJP को न्यायालयों पे भरोसा तो है नहीं. अब आप देखिए ना कि पुलिस की कस्टडी में किस प्रकार से अतीक और अशरफ को गोली मार के हत्या कर दी गई और वहाँ पे raising religious slogans. Does raising religious slogans mean that you can walk away with heinous crime? Anybody raises religious slogans of Jai Shri Ram, Allahu Akbar, Jai Isa Masih, Jai Guru Nanak जी, तो क्या आप जो heinous crime करेंगे आपको माफी मिल जाएगी?
पर अभी माफी कहाँ मिली है मैम? ये इंसिनुएशन थोड़ा आगे निकल गया ना, अभी वो कस्टडी में इन्वेस्टिगेशन जारी है.
बीजेपी तो डिफेंड कर रही है ना. You see how BJP is defending one of the ministers said कि ये आसमानी फरमान है, ये आसमानी फरमान है. One of the ministers
that's shameful. I mean, coming out and trying to... All right, you made your point. Let me go across and very quickly get in Aarti Jairath as well. Aarti Jairath, if this was a non-BJP state where leave alone Atiq Ahmed, any other leader, any other person accused would have been killed in this fashion, the BJP would have done 20 press conferences calling for President's rule and saying that there is no rule of law there, it's Jungle Raj. Should this not be said at this moment, the same thing we said about the Bharatiya Janata Party? Isn't this a serious question mark as far as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh is concerned?
No, absolutely, Ankit. And I think you raised a very, very valid point when you were talking to PKP Nambiar, that the question here is not sympathy or whether he was a criminal or not, right? All those things are going to be decided, whether he was a criminal or not will be decided by the court of law. But there is something called due process of law, and everybody needs to go through that process. Society can run in an orderly manner only if there is rule of law. Otherwise it becomes jungle raj. Anybody can take the law into their hands and go around shooting anybody, and nobody is accountable to the state, nobody is accountable to the law. The fact is that there was supposed to be high security. The fact is that Atiq and his brother had made a petition to the Supreme Court saying that they feared death threats, that they feared death. The state should have made adequate provisions for security when they were taking these men for a medical checkup. Why did the state not do that? And that is the question that really needs to be answered. I think we need to focus on the state's role in this, the court's role. What were they doing to ensure security of such high-profile prisoners?
R.C. Jared, do you fear that this entire, whatever has happened, and the way the slogans were raised, and we saw visuals of the Bharatiya Janata Party Yuva Morcha people in Kanpur, in fact, celebrating it, firecrackers being used, leaders coming out of the BJP saying, "Ye to Asmani justice hai." It's already become so political. It already was, and now it is a very dangerous mix of politics and religion as far as this man is concerned. The two people, those who have been killed.
No, absolutely. And this is a sad part. That, suppose these had been non-Muslims, suppose they had been, what would have been the BJP's reaction then? Would the BJP guys have come out and celebrated the way they did? They celebrated the way they did, they celebrated these deaths? I think, really, it has become a very dangerous mix of politics and religion, and that is the problem in our country, that when we should be looking at the law, when we should be looking at the processes that the state police adopts, we end up politicizing everything, and
Absolutely.
It ends up with the tutu meh, and you bring religion in because these are Muslims, not Hindus, and it just becomes such a mess that the real question is lost.
Real question is lost. Why was he gunned down? Who were the people behind these three people, shooters, those who had come and killed Atiq and Ashraf, PKP Nambiar? What justifies the celebrations of the cracker burning by the leader, by the people of the ruling party? I mean, they should be talking about their failure as far as the rule book is concerned, not burning crackers, sir.
Absolutely uncalled for. This is not expected, especially from a ruling government and the ruling party. Definitely there is no way somebody is celebrating, and it's very clear that there was a security lapse yesterday, and there is no doubt that security lapse required to go through a thorough investigation, and as quick as we can get the result of that investigation will clear the air forever. But having said that, my only apprehension in the beginning was that I have been seeing since morning or since last night, there was some kind of method, and of course the Samajwadi Party leader and etc. Everybody was trying to make him a hero, which he was not. Beyond that, I don't have any point. I am absolutely against any kind of an encounter killing. Everybody, even a criminal, have his own right within the law.
Right,
but
you're absolutely right there.
A criminal is equally a criminal act.
And the problem lies on both ends. No political party can try and use him as a hero and for the benefit of some political cloud. Neither can a political party, and especially the ruling one, can come out and celebrate it. This is a very, very toxic, dangerous mix that we are sitting on when there is religion and of course politics. They come together, collide as far as matters of law and order is concerned. Let's listen to some reactions. Let's listen to some reactions of the family members of the three men accused who were caught in the act killing Ashraf and Atiq Ahmed.
क्या करता था ये ऐसा घूमता फिरता रहता था इस मामले हम लोग कर देते उसको जी सर कितने लोगों को अंदर करके मालूम नहीं सर क्या भाई हैं आप लोग 3 भाई थे सर एक भाई खत्म हो गया मेरा अच्छा जी सनी कब से नहीं रहता है यहाँ ये काफी दिन हो गया सर सनी अपराधी कैसे बना अपराधी सर जाके ऐसे ही जाके घूमता फिरता था, बस फालतू के काम जाके अन्य और क्या।
आपका एक भतीजा था अरोड़ा और कालिया,
मैं जेठ के बड़े बात
अच्छा जेठ के लड़का थे, वो कहाँ पर है इस वक्त?
अब हमें मालूम नहीं
रहने वाले क्या करते थे?
हम बताना ना बिना बम में तो है ही ना, तो इतने छोटे जगह से चले गए, हमें न मालूम कहाँ रहे।
वो कब से यहाँ आते थे?
आते ही ना, हमने कहीं तो जगह लो, जमीन लो, बनाए लो।
ना वो कब से नहीं आए यहाँ पर?
यहाँ ना बहुत दिनों से रहा है यहाँ पर।
अभी जल्दी में बताया गया कि घूमने आया था।
में तो आए ही ना यहाँ, बिना की खेती पड़ी, हमने भी खेती।
6 साल पहले गए थे यहाँ से?
यहाँ से चले गए होंगे कोई 10-11 साल के।
हमें कोई जानकारी नहीं है, हम लोगों से इससे कोई मतलब नहीं। ये क्या घर में नहीं रहता? ना।
कब से प्रयागराज में रह रहा है?
हमें नहीं मालूम।
अच्छा यहाँ
भारत में आखिरी बार कब आया था?
ये 7-8-5 रोज पहले साल हमसे घर से किसी कोई चीज से मतलब दर्ज नहीं है। आता था अपना हाथ धो के, जब भी 4-6 रोज में आता था हाथ धो के अपना निकल जाता।
All right, so these were the family members of the 3 accused in the murder of Atiq and Ashraf Ahmed, all of them saying that they have nothing to do with the accused. Remember, and this is personally for me, as a principal position, I do not, in fact, I've never been in support of any sort of bulldozer action that we saw. But in the Umesh Pal murder case, if the accused, the families of the shooters and the accused and the people, those who were close to of the accused in Prayagraj, we saw the bulldozer action of the government of Uttar Pradesh, is same going to happen in the case of the accused in the Ashraf and Atiq killing? Or are there different yardsticks only owing to religion? A quick break at this moment. I thank all my guests for joining me at this moment. News and updates continue on the other side.